I'll let you open up, brother.
Okay. All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, we want to give all praise, honor, and infinite glory to our Heavenly Father.
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash.
All right, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who tell us the truth. Peace and salutations to those making their bodies a living sacrifice, especially the more so in these last days. All right, commend yourself wholly unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, which is important and what we wanted to partially touch on in this, in this lesson. So, this lesson is entitled, to walk worthy of the vocation, to walk worthy of the vocation wherein ye were called. All right, because many are called, few are chosen. So to walk with worth, all right, to walk accordingly is an important part of this ministry, to make sure that we're constantly inspecting ourselves, because if we don't, the Lord is going to make inquisition and inspect you. And if you're found lacking, or if you're found not to be fruitful in this ministry, then, it's going to come with consequences thereof, So making sure that we're on point, especially more so after Passover, we see a sifting spirit in the house. All right, we ought to make sure that the Lord is, has good things to say about us, for lack of better words. But, let's go ahead and read that Ephesians 4, and any points y'all brothers want to make as well.
Come on. This is Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 1. It says, I therefore, the prisoner of the Lord.
Right, a prisoner. What does a prisoner do? A prisoner does the will of whoever he's under authority by. He's fully submitted and fully constrained by the regulations, the living conditions, right, by the whoever is in authority. We're prisoners of hope ultimately, and we're prisoners within Yahweh Shai Mashiach, just as Paul. You got it.
Yep. Ephesians 4 and 1, it says, I therefore, the prisoner of the Lord, beseech you that you walk worthy of the vocation wherewith ye are called.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Can we get a couple of those words?
Can
we get beseech first?
That word beseech, all right, I'm getting the Hebrew first, then I have the etymology pulled up as well. Or the Greek, excuse me. It says a strong G 3870, parakaleo, and it says to call near, and the Strong's definition is to call near, to invite, to invoke. When you go to outline of biblical usage, it says to call to one side, to call for, to summon.
Right, hey, listen up. I persuade you, or I exhort you to listen to really hear me out. What did he say? I beseech you, brethren, that ye walk worthily according to the vocation. Okay, can we get that word vocation too?
Yep. You want it in the Greek or the etymology?
Greek. Yeah, the Greek is. We can start there first.
That word in the that word vocation in the Greek, it says klesis, right? Strong's G 2821. And it says a calling to, a call, an invitation, really, a divine invitation to embrace the salvation of the Most High.
Yeah, divine invitation. This is what we've been called to do. All right, your so-called purpose in the world might have been to be the best ranked 2K player, man, and it was all bullshit. But we've been called and been invited into this feast. We are to make sure that we're eating of this bread worthily, as it talks about in the book of Hebrews, man. That we drink of this cup, we drink of it worthily. We eat of this bread, we eat it worthily. That's what we've been called to do, and make sure that we don't take these lessons, these virtual epistles, these writings, the brotherhood, the customs that we've been given for granted, and not actually taking heed, because this is our vocation. Which can you look that up in the etymology too?
Yep, I got both those words in the etymology. Got some good stuff in here. On the etymology online, it says vocation, a spiritual calling, a summons, an urging to a specific activity.
Right, an urging to a specific activity. All right. this specific activity we've been called to do is to contend for the faith, to contend, to continue on, to make sure that we're enduring, what we come across. That's our job ultimately.
I got a precept.
Okay.
This is John chapter 15 and verse 16. It says, "Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you." Because that word, we went into it, it said invitation.
Right.
But if you're of the elect, really, it wasn't an invitation, it was a commandment. You have no choice. Jonah is an example of that.
Yep.
Once you were called, you got no choice. Jeremiah, once he was called, he had no choice. This is John chapter 15, and that eliminates free will, which is a teaching that's contrary to the scriptures. This is John chapter 15 and verse 16. It says, "Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you, that ye should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain, that whatsoever ye shall ask of the Father in my name, he may give it to you." And if I may, and I'm going to toss it right back to you, brothers, that fruit that remains is talking about, new listeners, new believers, all right, the remnant, the elect, that, the word is, attracts, but that's also going into your own fruits, your maturity through the Spirit, your own growth through the Spirit, which I got.
Ecclesiastes chapter 10, proceeding verse 2.
Is that what you had in your quote?
So like one second. Ecclesiastes 10 and 2. It says, "As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers, and what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein." So just like many are called, but few are chosen. Okay, yes, you are called to this thing, to try out, to see if this is for you. Okay, but you weren't chosen, to walk the line unless you show those same qualities. Okay, as the king that has called you, as the judge that is trying you, as the officers that's keeping you in the proper way. Okay, because all this is a test of Yahweh Shemini Shai. That's what life is. All right, and with you being in this thing of ours that Yahweh Shemini Shai has beautifully given to our elders and apostles of GMS, to bring out the word truthfully in season and out of season, to allow that vocation, to be passed out and passed on from the different generations that's within, if I'm saying it properly. But it's all through the spirit and power of Shemini Shai, and through the growth, but
because a vocation is also, it goes into like a profession as well. It goes into what we've been called under as an apprenticeship, to work under a professional and to see and to learn what the trade is, and then to imitate that as well. And the scriptures talk about how we ought to imitate, as Paul said, to imitate him as he imitated Yahweh Shai. We, of course, imitation is not a fool to be a figure of, but it's to imitate righteously, which, to take certain qualities that these men have and try to achieve the mastery of those said qualities, right? Discipline, knowledge, fullness, all right? Be perfect, all right? To be whole and make yourself complete in this knowledge, You had some?
I did, backing up both of you brothers, just real quick. This is Romans 8 and 9, going into your point, because you brought out that Sirach 10, and then your point as well. This is Romans 8 and 9. It says, "But ye are not in the flesh, but in the spirit. If so be that the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai dwell in you. Now, if any man have not the spirit of Hamashiach, he is none of his." Just laying back on the point. We're called disciples, right? Because the discipline that you have to take part in when you come in, it's conforming you to the image of Yahweh Shai. You know, that's the end. That's the end goal. You know, he's the prototype.
Can you get that Colossians 1?
Mm-hmm.
And we could start at verse 9. Actually.
Come. This is the book of Colossians, chapter 1, and verse 9. Because we also, since the day we heard it, do not cease to pray for you, and to desire that ye might be filled with the knowledge of his will and all wisdom and spiritual understanding.
Right, filled with the knowledge of his will and all wisdom and knowledge and understanding. Okay, we have to be filled with our vocation, our Shai's will, not filled with our own belly, with our own will, because as the scriptures say, what the heart is deceitful above all things. You know, we often forget. Man often forgets the fullness of the job. You know, they forget the reason as to why they're doing things in a systematic manner until you fuck up and ruin the work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but see, the elect is going to constantly have that goal and remembrance, which ultimately is keeping our eye on Yahushua, keeping our eye single, making sure that our steps is patterned after a way of good works, which is Yahushua. You know, you keep on.
Come. This is Colossians chapter 1 and verse 10. It says that ye might walk worthy of the Lord unto all pleasing, being fruitful in every good work.
Right. That's the first step of walking worthily. All right. It's to be fruitful in every good work. All right. Actually producing fruit.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We should be saved by our works and by faith. You know, whereby we must be saved, man. You know, that goes hand in hand, our work and our faith. And that work is ultimately making sure that we're working on ourselves. We're constantly exercising, you know, our members, man, cutting things off within our life and then adding things that, you know, need to be righteously added.
Mm-hmm.
Trimming the fat, you know, because in not being settled on your leash, you know, did you pull that Hebrews 13 and 16?
Mm-hmm. Or not yet?
Yeah,
not yet.
So like it.
Yep, that's a beautiful point though, because trimming the fat is it's also a thing in agriculture. Like in animals, you trim the fat of the animal, but in the you know, agriculture, you what they call it, the word pruning.
Yeah.
It's the same concept.
You know, John 15.
Mm-hmm.
At the beginning of that, you know, the Lord pruned word of those that produce fruit so that they could bring forth more fruit.
Yeah. Exactly. Yep. This is Colossians chapter 10 and verse 11. It says, strengthened with all might according to his glorious power unto all patience and long suffering with joyfulness.
Yeah, these are the characteristics of walking again. As the lesson is entitled "Walking Worthy of This Vocation." Those are the characteristics that one that's walking worthily would have. All right, keeping the patience, the long suffering. What did it say before that? Oh, producing, being fruitful in every good work.
Yep.
Okay, and increasing in the knowledge. Okay, these are the things that's going to add unto you spiritual gifts. Okay.
Yep. Baba Gashai, you mind if we touch on these words real quick?
Yeah, let's.
Because when it says strengthened with all might, that's something that a lot of people, when they hear the truth, they see us, we look downtrodden, right? And we through.
Yeah.
But through the Spirit, the Lord has been building us up.
Well, David looked through. Yeah. David looked like, you know, he couldn't stand up to par. He wasn't up to you know, the standard, right? But that was the difference between David and the house of Saul. Saul looked to be about it, but wasn't internally. David, on the other hand, didn't look to be about it, but was about it. You know, underdog, if you will. All right, but that's always the theme of the winner in the story.
You know, that goes into whenever David was picked. Samuel, you know, he wasn't looking for the most brawliest of guys. He didn't go to the best of his brother. He went to the lowly. He went to the meek, right, which was David. You know, and he, you know, since it was internal, you know, it wasn't with bodily eyes that you could see the spirit that how about Shai saw. Right? He saw him on another level. You know, just like him looking at us right now. Right? Because whenever the world sees us, they see niggas.
Mm-hmm.
All right, they see, you know, somebody that can throw a ball. Okay, but whenever how about Shai sees us, he sees a good and faithful servant. You know,
and even represent the prophets. The prophets will be able to see those intangible things that men have on the side. Those characteristics.
Yep.
But
Yep. And beautiful, because like y'all were saying, the men of the Lord, the prophets, they basically all had spiritual power.
kind
But it was activated through faith. It started with faith, belief in Yahweh Shem Shai, belief in themselves. But this word is Strong's G 1411, dynamis. It says strength, power, ability, inherent power. That's that engrafted word. Inherent power. Yashar Allah. Ye are princes of the power. Inherent power residing in a thing by virtue of its nature.
Makes me think of dynamics, right? Able to control the dynamics of things. That's what the prophet's gonna be able to do. This springing forth of power is gonna be able to do this even on a higher scale in the kingdom, where it's to show itself with controlling the elements, right? Controlling the rain and whatnot. We control the dynamics of this society by preaching this word, sign and crime. We're single-handedly destroying this society by bringing up these talking points, right? This is breaking down strongholds. So when we go out there and prophesy, right, we're being strengthened in ourselves and in our faith and our belief, but also tearing down this stronghold and strengthening up the nation as well.
Yeah, this is that word might, and this is a little bit more.
Okay.
So like this is that word might, because something that's been coming out a lot more, and we're gonna keep pushing it, is miracles are coming.
Right.
Like more evident. Miracles have already been happening.
Yep.
If you know, type. But they're gonna become more evident. It says miraculous power, and Strong's definition says miraculous power, miracles. All right. So I just want to get that real quick.
and did you read it already?
Can I read the verse again? You speaking. Colossians 1:11. It says, strengthened with all might. And that was that word might. It says, according to his glorious power, unto all patience and long suffering with joyfulness.
So that we gotta go back to reiterate and make the main thing. This is how about you shot about. None of this is of us. Right? All this is of you how about you shot. Right? And it's because of he gave it to us to meditate on, for him to give to the rest of the world. Can I pull a precept real quick?
Can we, since you made that point, but it touches on that in the next verse too, which you can speak on.
All right.
This is Colossians 1:12. It says, giving thanks unto the Father, which hath made us meet to be partakers of the inheritance of the saints in light.
See, there you go. It made us to be meet. He made us to dwell into his word to acquire the things necessary. All right.
And to be partakers, right? If because we were partaking that feast, right?
Yeah.
And that's ultimately taking part in Yahweh Shai, right? Him being the main course, and that's gonna be the theme of the kingdom. It's gonna be the kingdom of Israel, but really is the kingdom of Yahweh Shai.
Is that going into Corinthians where it talks about how wisdom has garnished her table, and
that's Proverbs, I believe, right? The Proverbs, like
I'm not sure where that is.
Well,
You talking about Proverbs 9 or 8? Kill their beast, wisdom of
because wisdom has brought us into this thing, all right, through the strength of power of Yahweh, all right, to grow their body. I was going to pull that Sirach 39 and 1. It says, "But he that giveth his mind to the law of Yahweh Shai and is occupied in the meditation of thereof will seek out the wisdom of all the ancients and be occupied in prophecy." All right, and that's what I see being exuded, through whenever we, push upon Yahweh Shai.
Mm-hmm.
All right, because we're occupied in prophecy, all right, to allow the main thing to be the main thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're not trying to get it out ourselves. We're not trying to, these other camps, separate and try to remove Yahweh Shai,
which is ass
which
backwards.
is ass backwards, because we can't get this shit ourselves.
If there was a plan from the beginning of the foundation of the earth that was going to be executed, we're just living it up.
Yeah, every step of the way. You know, just like the left side means to try to compete with the right.
Mhm.
All right, it's the same thing. You know, but we're making in this holy vocation. You know, Yahweh Shemiah Shai is the reason for the season.
Can you go back to that word vocation, and then can we read that Surah 39 again?
You want the vocation in the etymology?
Yeah, etymology, like the bottom toward the bottom.
You want me to read to 3?
Not yet. I want to reread that again from the top. But we can read to 3 though.
It says a old French vocation, or down here, the sense of one's employment, occupation.
Right. It's the sense of one's employment, occupation. Keep on. No. On the
That's all you got.
It's
Is it
tested both mechanical and professional.
Selected.
Right. Mechanical and professional occupation. You know, that's part of what that word goes into, vocation. All right. That occupation, right? And like the brother just read, we can read Sirach 39 again.
This is Sirach chapter 39, verse 1. It says, "But he that gives his mind to the law of Yahweh Shemiah Shai and is occupied in the meditation thereof."
Right, occupied in Yahweh Shai. Okay, this is our job. This is not a part-time gig. This is a full-time job of continually working on yourself, which really starts and stops never. You know, it's you always on duty. You're always a minister or servant, you know, supposed to be a vessel for Yahweh Shai. And always on call, if you will.
And going to that always on call, I'm going to jump back to Sirach 38 and 24. It says, "The wisdom of a learned man comes by opportunity of leisure." It says, and he that is and he that hath little business shall become wise. Right? Because that means that you're spending all of your time to show you how much you are worthy. You know,
that's what the whole context of the 38th chapter is going into, is pretty much vocations and the profession of people and how they work and how the world goes round and round and what makes a city a city. You know, this occupation that we have is people are specifically crafted and brought in for certain roles in this business, you know, and the Father's business.
And if they're not doing their job properly, they'll be weeded out.
Can I read verse 21?
Sirach
39 and 21. It says, "A man need not to say, what is this? Wherefore is that? For he hath made all things for their uses." Just backing out a little.
Just like us, he has made every man every man to be a fitted stone in the building.
Right.
You know, it's just Yahweh Shai said chief cornerstone. You know, to where the building can't fall. All right. If it has a little unsettling of an earthquake or a tornado, you know, that building's not going to fall because, you know, we have such a great high priest, which is the chief cornerstone.
Wise master builder.
Yeah, the wise master builder. Like those there's a building process. I think it was made in Japan where they don't use nails.
Yep, everything fits perfect.
Everything fits perfectly. You know, to where
that's dope. It comes out nice.
It just fits, and it's not heavy until everything is put together and the building is made.
That's a heavy point. That's a heavy point, bro. And in order for that, like that type of architecture?
Yeah.
You have to be, your measurements have to be exact.
Exact. And then whenever the materials is put together, you can't even put a piece of paper in between.
That's so perfect.
Because it's made specifically off by one iota. You know, they're not off by one iota. It's perfect.
Yep.
You know, that's how Yahweh Shemiah Shai said that the world was good. Because it was perfect. Like, who can do it better?
Yep. Beautiful. You want to go back to Where were we at? Let's say Ephesians, or we were in Sirach.
Sirach 39.
Can I finish it out just so? It says, but he that giveth his mind unto Yahweh Shalaki, but he that giveth his mind to the law of Yahweh Shai, occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancients, and is occupied in prophecy. He will keep the sayings, the sayings of the renowned men, and where subtile parables are, he will be there also.
Keeping the sayings of renowned men, keeping the things that happened in the times past in remembrance. Often speaking on those things. That's a form of how can I say immortality as well. Often rereading the stories of old, bringing up the men. Mm-hmm. Right, our forefathers have a form of immortality. Of starting with Yahweh Shai through this word, and then even as the elders, when we get with them and they recount the stories of the one West, right? That's a form of immortality. Although these men had died, right? Oh, let's get Sirach 44.
Sirach 44 and 22.
No, it might be. I think
I had a quick one, and then I can get that. I can find that in Sirach 30 or 44. You said this is Sirach 31, or actually Sirach 30 and 3. Mm-hmm. It says, "He that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy, and before his friends he shall rejoice of him." Verse 4, "Though his father die, yet he is as though he were not dead, for he hath left one behind that is like himself."
Right, because again, in the ancient world, the vocation that your father had was the same vocation, same occupation that you had. So you were under an apprenticeship through him, and you would learn under him, and then you would be able to, when he perished, be able to take on the role that that society needed to continue and help it flourish, right? If you were, for instance, a blacksmith, right? Your last name was Blacksmith. you would learn under your father from a young age to take on that role of a family. And even Yahweh Shai did that, Mm-hmm. His father being a carpenter, under being a carpenter. So, but his main vocation was his father's business. And we take part in that, our father's business, holding that down, continuing in that. All right, and it said that it had been as if he had not died. Right, so that being when Yahweh Shai came back up on the scene, there was a incredulity within the Roman government. Right, and that's why we see that happening now, because he lives through this work that we doing, man. We're preserving. Although he doesn't need us to do that, but it's being done through us as well, man. So that's something to be. That's something to worry about.
Whenever Yahweh Shai said, whenever his parents was looking for him, right? And he said, loosely paraphrasing, "Am I not about my father's business?"
Right.
So it shows through him then and through us now, because he gave the exact word, from his father to us. Right. It says in that John chapter 17, if you could pull 17 and 12, because whenever he gave the word unto us, he created a creation to go create.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm saying it right.
That's not supposed to be.
Boy.
I mean, but all that is part of that vocation.
Right. No,
right. It all stems, it all stems through Yahweh Shai. All right. Just like he is the unspotted mirror, as it says in that Wisdom of Solomon chapter Salakia. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 7, verse 26. I proceed.
Tom, did y'all have time? Do you want to? Y'all got precepts we need to hit?
He said we can hit that John.
John 17:12.
Yeah.
This is John 17 and 12. It says, "While I was with them in the world, I kept them in thy name." Is that the one you wanted?
Yeah.
It says, John 17 and 12, "While I was with them in the world, I kept them in thy name. Those that thou gavest me have I kept, and none of them is lost, but the son of perdition, that the scripture might be fulfilled.
Because none of the ones that were supposed to be there to keep the word going wasn't lost. They were there to do the will and fit the power of Yahweh Shai. Okay, just like and we are fruits from them, through our elders and apostles. So the family reunion tree has just gotten bigger, and now it's 144,000 of them, scattered throughout all the known world, because they have the testimony of Yahweh Shai.
Being fruit meat for repentance,
Yep.
man.
We are a part of it.
Lord willing, we continue to keep going. But yeah, you got that, and then we could jump. Once we read that, we could go to Hebrews 2, and that's pretty much all I have.
Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 20, it says, "Now the God of peace, Yahweh Shai, that brought again from the dead our Lord Yahweh Shai, that great shepherd of the sheep, through the blood of the everlasting covenant."
Right, and that blood is important, man. Having that blood is important. As Colossians even goes into it, the blood of redemption. When you jump to, I believe, the verse 14. As you read in Colossians 1, that blood. That's what that represents, man. Outside did a lot for us to get back. So understanding that and that being a part of our vocation, that's something we can't neglect either. We can't neglect what Yahushua did on the cross, because we're gonna have to eat a portion of that as well. Not saying that we're gonna be involved in everything that happened to him, but to some degree, that bitter is gonna be brought up to us.
And that's what Pesach is all about. Understanding and knowing, and growing thereby.
But it's also about that lamb too. It's also about the wine too.
Yeah.
But we can't neglect the bitter, man. This is just a part of that role, man. It's a part of this vocation,
And don't be eating no romaine lettuce.
You got it.
Hebrews 13 and 21, it says, "Make you perfect in every good work to do his will, working in you that which is well pleasing in his sight through Yahweh Shai HaMashiach."
Right. That's the selflessness of this, the selfless nature of this vocation, man. Making sure that we're doing the owner, his will, all right, fulfilling his purpose.
Yeah.
All right. This is not our own platform to do our own thing. You had your chance to do that in the world, and you see where it gets us, man.
We're tools, we're vessels. Like the scriptures talk about how Heavenly Father is a potter.
Yeah. Right. And
Yahweh Shai, like his father is a potter, and he molded us, he created us for a specific task. So you can't look at your lot like a light thing. At the end of the day, we don't know if we're the elect, but either way you cut or slice it, we're a part of prophecy. Yeah. That's why we always go into nomen omens. Yeah. And like that brother we were talking about the other day, you live up to your name. You live up to whatever your role is supposed to be in prophecy, or in the Lord's movie.
Because your name doesn't live up to you.
You live up to your name.
You live up to your name.
Yeah. And that was often too a writing technique too, where in the ancient world they would omit somebody's name, or in terms of what they did, or if you analogize the story, you would change that person's name. It might be to a certain. It might be likened to an animal, or it might be likened to something that's negative, so that that's what they represented that.
Yeah. Like they changed Yahweh Shai's name.
Yeah, right.
And they gave us what? Jesus Christ and God. Earth Pig. There's power, man, bro.
Yeah.
Earth Pig.
Ever since the name has been brought back to the planet Earth, look what's happened.
Right.
The whole world has changed. And it's getting ready to change again on a greater scale. And we believe it that this year, we don't know, can't tell you exact dates, but we can tell you that the world around us is changing drastically, rapidly, fast.
2025, man, the 2 plus the 5 equals a 7. So it might just be the completion year.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Colossians.
To that, the Hebrews 2.
This is Hebrews chapter 2. And you want to start at the top?
Yeah, verse 1.
Hebrews 2 and 1. It says, "Give heed" is the subheader. It says, therefore, we ought to give the more earnest heed to the things which we have heard, lest at any time we should let them slip.
Right. Lest at any time we should let them slip. Right. And that's important when you walk. You got to take heed into how you're walking in case you slip. Because, what's funny about human nature is it's so funny seeing somebody fall. Right.
We've been seeing that a lot lately, too.
Yeah.
Or preaching, people falling down.
Yeah, just falling right in front of us.
Spilling wine,
and that could be a sign as to we laugh at these individuals, but we got to make sure that we walking right before we fall. Because it's funny to see somebody else fall, but then you look at yourself, and if you fall, you're in that same position. That's a very embarrassing, humbling thing. Then they continue to try to pick yourself back up, pick up the pieces. Right, you might drop a whole bunch of shit. Change fall out your pocket. It's just a mess, man. So we got to make sure that we don't let these things slip, because if we fall, man, if we face forward, a lot of people want to see us fall.
Well,
yeah,
I was going to say, because falling or slipping could be more than just falling, all right? Because you could slip of the tongue, and the tongue is the smallest member, but it causes the most damage.
Sure. And James, also talk about that in James.
Yep. That and often Sirach, how you can slip up the tongue and you don't fuck up your whole life.
Yeah.
Just off something that you said.
Yeah. Can I get a precept, you brothers?
Sure.
This is Proverbs 24:16. It says, for a just man falleth 7 times and riseth up again, but the wicked shall fall into mischief. So the major difference between, us and everybody else, Lord's willing, we keep getting up, we keep enduring until the end. That's the difference.
That's the difference.
Some people are gonna get back up again and again and again and keep getting up until the kingdom, and then some people are just gonna be out of there, like Alizé. Like we just seen, he ain't getting up from that fall, man. Lord getting ready to make a even bigger example out this nigga. It ain't over, man. The judgment ain't over.
No. It's just going to continue to get worse and worse and worse.
Yep.
Because that was a lot that he put himself in.
Yep.
All right. Well, he didn't put himself in. So like, how about Shai put him in that to edify the body. Mm-hmm. He had it's like a pancreas. He really wasn't needed.
And that goes for all of us. For we all must stand before the judgment seat of Yahweh Shai. You want to finish this up?
Yeah.
We're at Hebrews 2:2. It says, for if the word spoken by angels was steadfast, and every transgression and disobedience received a just recompense or reward.
Right, talking about the law, right? The things in the ancient world, was the law was given to Moses, and it was every transgression and disobedience received a just recompense, right? So you did something that was worthy of death, you would receive death, typically, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna read this in NLT real quick, just for edification's sake. Mm-hmm. Hebrews 2:2. It says, for the message of the Most High. What the hell? That's a demon. You saw what that shit just pulled up? It just typed in Jesus on the shit.
Did it?
Yeah, it just totally typed in Jesus. Maybe I highlighted it in, I don't know. That was weird. Hebrews 2:2, it says, for the message of the Most High, or Yahweh Shai, delivered through angels, has always stood firm, and every violation of the law and every act of disobedience was punished. So what makes us think we can escape if we ignore this great salvation that was first announced by Yahushua himself and then delivered to us by those who heard him speak?
Right. And let's see, Yahushua said when he was on the scene, if he would have believed Moses, then he would have been, you would have believed me because he spoke of me, and we seen the evidence that what the law brought forth, right? Because Jake was judged under the law, Jake was taken out because of the not obeying of the law. But how much more so if we neglect the one that even predates that,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How much more if we offend him, who represents the whole role, man, represents the volume of the book,
who started everything.
Mm-hmm. We received more recompense repentance for neglecting this this calling, this vocation that we've been brought into. So that was pretty much all that I had. You know, I believe that the point was made. Lord willing, if brothers have points, please add them to the comment board, man. But you know, that's just something for us to consider as we walk, to make sure that we're walking according to what we've been called to do, to finish. So with that, we want to go ahead and give all praise, honor, and infinite glory unto our Heavenly Father.
Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Ba'Shem Kakadash.
Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone taught us the truth. Shalom.
Shalom.
Shit.